1, 2, 3.
Four or 5 years before, when I not using Gurtam platform, I remember Google contact me by Globema, yeah, and contact me and ask me for license, and I need Google for about 100, 200 vehicles, and they offer me a license for 2,000 vehicles, and was about $10,000 per year, and was impossible. And you know, Google doesn't negotiate with the small companies.
It was true. It was true at the time.
This policy was changed right now. Now I understood.
Yeah, you have to pay for each call, so for small companies it's now maybe easier. And it was our initial idea how to cooperate with Gurtam, who has hundreds and hundreds of small clients, and how to give them the access to Google Maps, which is too expensive if you have just few tracks. And it was the basic idea when we met together and prepare the implementation. So now we should benefit not from this, but from the volume. You together make a bigger volume, which pushes Google to give the better price and still make you more competitive on the market, definitely against the biggest players.
Yeah. And speaking about the pricing policies and the change in pricing, still, as I mentioned before, these costs should be covered. So here comes the question to the panelists. Do you cover the costs associated with Google Maps from your own budget, or do you make sure that end users are covering them? And if end users help you cover them, how do you do that? Do you hide the costs? Do you hide it between the service fee, or do you openly say this is an extra fee for Google Maps?
That's an interesting question, but we've been almost 10 years on the monitoring business, and because before it was free, actually you cannot change the policy. Maybe to the new clients coming in, you cannot adapt that to your
good
cost.
point.
But one of the things that we did since the beginning was to give the cost per unit that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as cost per unit is bearable, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be charging the client for the map. I see it as an added value.
Okay.
In our special case.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, for us, we hide the price as well, because although it's important, as Todd was saying, to make a differentiation, at the same time, it's not, if you say, do you need Google Map? I will add to you to $1. So it's, they will sell, okay, but the other guy, your competitor is giving to me the Google Maps. So it's a struggle, a battle that doesn't worth to fight. So I prefer to hide the price, and then if I realize that they don't need it, well, I switch it off and I get a bit more. But
Yeah, there we go.
I hide the price.
Okay, thank you, Mar.
Maybe it's a way to reward the clients after 1 year contract.
Thank you for the hint, Katalin.
We charge extra our clients for Google Map. Although it's completely optional for them, and they will be informed about the cost while they are filling out activation form.
Can I ask you, do you do that during the sale? That when you quote, you quote the Google Map on the sale too?
Yes, we have some in activation form. We have some different abonnements, and we also add this option that it's possible to have access to Google Map. And if customer choose this option, so we would activate Google for them. But and at the same time, we have informed them about the cost, and all of them we have in the activation form. We provide them, and if they select it, so we
Maybe comes out of the talk, but the OSM is very big in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people will compare the Google Map with the OSM sometimes. And it is the free initiative to compete against it.
If I'm not mistaken, OSM was updated last time, maybe like in 2014. So, but we still like, a lot of Gurtam Maps is based on OSM, but we kind of analyze each country in particular, and the project was completely stopped in 2014. So in some countries it makes no sense to even compare, but in some countries, yes, it is still a very good source of data and addresses.
But still, it's good for, let's say, showing the position on the map if you would like to go to beyond this.
Yes.
And ask for extra traffic and things like this. It's definitely a different story.
Yeah, and getting back, we slightly touched upon the topic, what kind of capabilities there are in Google Maps. So to your mind, what kind of features of Google Maps API are still underutilized? There are many things, even I don't know all of them, maybe Tatsiana also doesn't know all of them, but what else can we use more, provided of course we also incorporate it more into Wialon hosting?
I wouldn't know. I will have to ask that question. Truly, I wouldn't be able to answer because my developers are the one who are in charge of monitoring the number of hits. They're in charge of monitoring the activity, and he was the one who told me, "Don't cut the Google Map license." Actually, my developer told me that.
Yeah. So you see who's the decision maker in the company about the maps, yes?
Yeah, but I sometimes have to listen. And he told me, don't cut the Google Maps license because we need the engines that it is providing. We're using the engines for our advantage. That's what we're using.
Yeah, Radovan, into your opinion, you know all the capabilities, even though you're not a developer. What do you see is being neglected?
It's very difficult to say. It's very different in different verticals, in different markets. Usually in some of them it might be just things like Street View, or which is really unique, aerial imagery. But I think that most value is behind the ability of Google to provide the perfect search. If you are searching for some place and you are using the places service with suggestions, you are getting same thing which is available on Google Maps for the customers on the web or on your mobile phone. So you don't need to know the address, you don't need to know the local language, you should just enter what you would like to search for and you are getting it. This is, for example, crucial for taxi applications like Uber is. Just for your interest, Uber is spending maybe 95% of their cost of Google Maps just for places search. Because it's very convenient if you just start the application and you just enter the name of the hotel or airport and you get what Google gives to the user into your application. So this is really big value. Google knows it and Google is getting money for it, really big money. But there are a lot of other things. I think that for companies which are doing things like the local delivery, the last mile, it's using current traffic which is embedded into the planning, so you can reschedule the stops of your stuff during the day and save hours of instead of being stuck in the traffic, you can manage it better, or you can inform your customers when you can arrive. So you can use many of APIs, and I have here the discussion I think with Todd yesterday that one of features which will be more interesting for example, personal tracking applications or workforce management is simple thing. You need to know where your stuff is if it's not reachable with GPS. So you can use the service from Google which translate Wi-Fi or GSM cell IDs into the position. So you get rough information about where you are, even if you are not connected to GPS. And okay, there are other services, but this service has the advantage that there is 2.5 billion of active Android users which are updating the data constantly. So I think that effort which is put into the freshness of the data is really tremendous, and the scale of the whole globe, it's, I think, something which is really big benefit. I can understand that in some regions some maps could be similar or could be even better, but in general I think that probability that you are sending people to the right places, you are not spending fuel, time, money, and the user satisfaction is not influenced by wrong planning in the map. With Google Map is in average the best you can get. And I think that also many of your customers are using Google Maps in their personal lives. 90% of people which are on the internet knows Google Maps, and it's the reason why they are asking for them. That they really like them. So I think it's really an argument which might help you to sell better or be more competitive, and more features we'll be able to put into the Wialon inside. I think more value you'll be able to offer to your customers, and even there is some price add-on for it. I think that we should find a lot of value we can deliver to our customers when they can save a lot, much more than the cost of the map is.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. What is the best way to interact with Google Maps in a sense of having the best, the newest data? And I mean, we have some Google Map information that is not correct. So what will be the best way to correct that information?
I'm not sure if it's true all over the world, but at least there is a feature on standard Google Maps web application, or probably also in a mobile application, called reporter problem. Anyone, any user of the Google Map can say, okay, this road is not present in the map, or the shop is closing in different hours. You can report whatever, and usually there is some process behind it. It's not fully automated because there was some guys who would like to make a fun from this, and there was fights between Apple and Google before or after it. So, but anyway, it works very well. There are countries, I think I can remember Georgia, where it was the governmental initiative who paid the people to map the country because it was available just on Yandex, which is something they would not like that much, because their view on Georgia was a little bit different than the Georgia's government. So they really paid to people to improve the map. So anybody can do this, and what's important, the changes are promoted within usually seconds to minutes. At least one day, all the changes are present.
Yeah. We have 2 questions from the audience, at least first Peter and then Todd.
So if we want to order a rescan for a specific area, we have a big problem in Iraq where some areas are like 6-7 years old. What's the procedure for that?
There are some countries, I think it's 5 or 6 countries, and I'm afraid that Iraq is one of those, which are from the view of the US government, which is riding the Google's activity, prohibited. So some features are not available here, and I am afraid that somehow it's prohibited to update the map. I don't know from which side, but I'm not sure about it. But
okay, what about different areas? And what's the regular procedure for rescanning, ordering, or is it done, or is it scheduled by you guys?
No. It's the Google is doing several types of map updates. I definitely do not know everything. I know that they are measuring the quality of the map, and they are trying to fix the worst ones and be as good as possible on all over the world. It's a little bit fun because we delivered them as a Ceda. We delivered maps of Czech Republic and Slovakia 6 years back, and they are still better than Germany, which they are updating. So we don't sell updates, but never mind. The second thing is they are using the community, and through the community input, which really all users, including you and your customers, could be, they are getting unbelievable number of updates, and are trying to face the problem how to map the reality which is changing.
And if we want to check the progress of Street View, is there somewhere to check when it will be live in a certain country?
There is no roadmap. I know that there are some, again, limitations given by some, let's say, governmental rules in different countries. It's really different, and I have no idea how it's going.
Okay, just one more question. Reverse geocoding, does it happen through Google Maps or through Gurtam Maps? Like sometimes on a map, I see a couple of icons with a gas station or hospital or whatever. But when we do the reverse geocoding, whether it's from Gurtam Maps or Google Maps, I don't get any name of a hospital. What are we doing wrong? Or
no, we do not use Places API. So I think this name of such gas station and hotels are available only through Places API. It was not included in our package. in our plan. But the new one, after the changes, Places API will be available. So
will be available, but however they are paid on top of the price of the license. So they are always paid as you are using it. For each call you have to pay. But there is difference between geocoding when you are getting just addresses and places when you are getting name of the businesses.
It's a different pricing.
Yeah, very different.
Thank you, and we also have one more, probably last question from Todd.
Google does have a program called Google Local Guides, which means if you log in under your personal Google account and you start correcting things and leaving reviews for restaurants and other stuff, after you do about 20 or 30 of these, whether it's reviews or corrections or other things, they promote certain people in that location to be Google Guides, and then their information gets higher in the queue for corrections more quickly, which means you can add new stuff to the map more quickly. You can correct things like store hours, locations, but also you can say this road is open or this road is closed or it's one way. The other thing you can actually do is you can alert them to problems on the map where the map might be incorrect and needs updates, and the Google Guides information is considered filtered, so it comes in at the top of the list as far as things to fix. Yeah, there is actually one other thing they allow, which is if you have an industrial customer, they can actually now apply to create the equivalent of Google Street View inside of their private facility. So they do this for shopping malls, for airports, for universities, so they can, because the Google Street View is built by a van driving around with an advanced camera on it, but corporations can actually upload their own information in and do that. So you can create something pretty cool for an industrial customer that's got their own facility.
As a Ceda, we do exactly this thing. We are offering the indoor street view. We are also offering indoor mapping of shopping malls, so we can put the shopping mall into the Google Maps. So there are a lot of things, but it's really depending on country what's available. And as you said, with these local guides, it's true. Higher level you are, the easier process of promoting changes you are offering to Google Maps is easier or faster.
Thank you so much, everyone, for participation. I'm sorry to cut it, but we're running out of time. Just when we started, I think we could bring this discussion and continue it off stage. I would love to thank all the participants for sharing the information and the insight, and I would also love to thank the audience. Please remind me to bring all of you on stage next year with your nice questions, and also with Radovan. Today we've managed to discuss how we see value in Google Maps, how we sell them, how we position Google Maps in the market to our end users. Sometimes we openly say it's the Google Maps, sometimes they don't know, they don't care, but still we benefit a lot from the engine itself. We've also discussed a little bit how we came to the conclusion to integrate Google Maps. And also just to remind you, if you have any ideas what features from Google Engine could be implemented, incorporated more into Wialon hosting, please make sure to find Tatsiana, please make sure to find Radovan. We're looking forward to your opinions, and we need to get the roadmap going. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're starting another coffee break, and we can meet back here at 4:40 to continue with the presentations.